what HR considerations would there be on your end? Because once I have done this and I've notified the labor officer, I've paid my terminal dues, yes, I have done the checkbox as required by the law. But are there other considerations that HR
that you must
would look
consider?
at?
So the most important thing, first of all, to say that this is legal. It's in the Employment Act, word for word, on what people should do. So if you're doing that, please just, even before you go to the lawyer, go to section 40 and you just find everything step by step.
Yeah.
It's also illegal to discriminate anybody because they're in the union. Because sometimes you want to get rid of the union people and therefore you target. So the law is very clear. Do not discriminate anybody because they have joined the union or they have expressed their willingness to join a union. I'll talk about consultation as the biggest heavy bit that from the HR perspective or the business perspective has to do. Because if you follow the law and you do a cosmetic consultation, the whole process is also a sham. So in the consultation, it has to be very clear that the purpose is to make the process as painless as possible.
Yes.
To reduce the pain that the employee has to go through. So sit down and understand who are the demographics. Is it some people who are maybe even in their late almost 60 and they may struggle to get a job? Are they people who have worked for you in a very, maybe forever that it is? So you sit with that consultation and even look at other avenues. What can we do to make it less painful for the people that are affected? Are there jobs that are coming up and how can we train them for the gap? Can we do ABCD to just make it less painful and ABCD? At that point, even see HR people bringing career consultants, psychologists to just come and make the process. Because it's a big change.
It is.
It's a big change. And again, like I said, depending on the demographics of who you're dealing with, different people will cope with that particular change in a very different way. Yeah. So the consultation is very, very important. And also to also say, during that time of consultation, the employees cannot go away. They have to stay in the you can't tell them that we are paying you the 2 notices. We talked about it. That we are paying the notice for notifying you the intention to declare the job redundant, and therefore we can pay you now and you go with the 2 months. They are meant to stay in the organizations, that if they have any questions, because how are you going to consult them if they're not in the workspace, if they're at home? Yeah. So as part of consultation, just know that notice they're supposed to serve it while still in the organization. Yes. So you cannot pay, you cannot combine the 2 notices in one letter. It is consultation period. Make it meaningful. Even in your letter, say you can consult so and so, and keep communicating and having a communication plan that communicates. Don't keep people in the dark as part of that. A plan that says, on this particular day, this is what we are planning to do. On this particular day, this is what we are planning to do, and have people know that they can walk into whichever office for support, for this, career coaches and all that, just to make sure that the process is as painless as possible.
You reminded me of a case that I am actually currently handling, where an employee was issued a notice of redundancy at 5 p.m. on a Thursday, but towards the end of the month. That was sometime in 2025. And was called to an office with a HR consultant and the CEO, and was told, this is a notice of intention to declare you redundant. And it was only issued to her. Then she was serving a particular role as a head of department, and she had other employees beneath her or reporting to her. And she was told, today is your last working day. And she was escorted to her desk. She was told to log out. She logged out and she was told to leave. It was a very traumatizing experience for her. So the following week, she told the employer that I need to come back in to make sure that I also log out of my personal emails and so on and so forth. To which she was told she can come in, but she will be escorted while she's doing that. Again, an extremely embarrassing and traumatic experience, because you're being told you're losing your job, and it is almost, this is a summary dismissal, but it was being deemed as a redundancy. Then subsequent to that, the CEO sends her an email and says, just what you have said, we can make this easier. Can we pay you for your notice of intended, that particular...
The first notice and the second notice.
Yes, and can we also pay you for your contractual period? And then we will pay you for years worked. Despite the fact that she had worked for 8 years, they were in 2-year contracts, right? So we'll pay you for those 2 years. Would you be open to that? So then she responded and asked, am I being terminated or am I being declared redundant? Then the CEO said, then have it your way. Right? So, of course, she had it her way. She waited. She has been logged out of the office. Then she receives an email from her boss saying, please remember that you're still an employee, and when called upon,
should be available.
You should be available. So then there's mixed messages from the same organization. So at the end of 30 days, she was given her notice period, she was given her severance pay, and any other terminal dues that were due to her at the time. Subsequent to that, then she comes to my office and she says, I was declared redundant, but I'm not sure what is happening. So then when I heard that story, she tells me that her immediate junior was actually promoted to her role in acting capacity as they look for somebody else, right? And when now we went to Kokos, because when I looked at it, I just said, this is a sham.
Yeah.
It was targeted. The position is still relevant to the organization. As a matter of fact, they even put out a sourcing advertisement saying for an internal sourcing and external sourcing, saying that they're looking for that particular position that she had. So in such a scenario, then you're able to say, even leave alone the issue of process, because you can tell that they try to
it was about her. It was about her, not the job. It was about her, yes, yeah.
So in such a situation, if you truly must let go of somebody, do not white label it as redundancy.
And allow me to talk about, because it's very common. It's actually very common. If you look at the case, you'll find very many people who have gone to court because the boss wanted to get rid of them, and therefore what do? The easiest way, we are not going to notify the Ministry of Labor, we pay you and you leave. So it's very common, but just to say to the employers and also to the HR people, if you have to terminate someone and you want to hide the redundancy, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay, because it's very easy, like Stella is saying here, to actually say, this was not a redundancy. I've seen people even changing job titles. Yeah. So you're declared redundant, then tomorrow you have an advert. Same job description, but a different job title. So we are just changing the wrapping. Same that has been wrapped differently.
Yes.
And therefore, again, it cannot be a redundancy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or we fire you, and then in 2 months or 3 months, we have the same advert up and running.
Exactly.
It's a sham.
And there's a case similar to that.
And there's so many. There's so many. I'm sure even our listeners, I'm sure they have experienced maybe some of this that we're saying. So always have a valid reason. If it is not redundancy, ask yourself, why do you want to let so and so go? Find your reason. If you can't find a reason, we spoke about mutual separation in our previous episode. Talk about that if it's not working, but don't call what's not redundancy a redundancy. Thank you very much for that particular company as we talked about this. We'll come back with more insightful episodes on the same. Thank you.